Welcome back. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi will begin a state visit to Portugal on Monday, his first visit since the Portuguese President Marcelo de Sousa took office in March of last year. Ahead of his two-day visit, a Portuguese news agency conducted an interview with the president where he talked about the latest developments in the country, as well as a number of regional and international issues. The head of state told the Portuguese media that his visit would be the first by an Egyptian president in 24 years. Speaking on bilateral ties, President el-Sisi said last year had witnessed an increase in trade volume between the two countries by 38%, asserting that there are wide horizons of future cooperation between the two countries on trade and economic fronts. Sisi also said his administration is committed to combat terrorism in the country as it was threatened by a civil war.
Egypt was threatened with a serious civil war, and its consequences would affect all the region or even Europe. We are more than 90 million Egyptians. Imagine a civil war in Egypt. And if things went out of control, imagine the immigration, the suffering, the victims that would occur upon this. Or the results and consequences of such a war upon Europe and the world. We are more than 60 million under the age of 40. I want you to consider all points and imagine how a civil war would look like. This number is even more than Iraq, Libya and Syria altogether.
El-Sisi added that protecting Egyptians and their rights to democracy and freedom are key, and he insisted that security measures are a priority.
Protecting a nation and a great country has more than 19 million population is a serious issue. And upon what is happening in the region, it's an exceptional situation, and everybody knows the chaos in the area, and we wouldn't let our country to turn into a refugee country receiving aids by planes. And I hope this would be appreciated by our associates and cooperatives. I want them to understand that we won't support human rights.
The President said the administration aims to achieve political and economic stability and safeguard low-bracket citizens at the backdrop of the recent economic reforms announced by the government. In this respect, he affirmed that the people's reactions towards the recent economic decisions reflect their understanding of the crucial stage that Egypt is passing through and their care about their country.
The youth in Egypt and the public opinion is aware of its interest, and they know our only goal is to achieve an economical reform. It's painful but necessary that to have hope for them and for next generations. Their reaction, as you have seen, is against all odds. They were aware of what is happening and they protected their country.
The president called for the continuation on the fight against their enemies in Syria, Iraq and Libya, urging people to unite in the face of terrorism.
The real enemy we are facing not only in Iraq, Syria and Libya, it faces all the world, which is terrorism. We have to unite to have a global strategy to face it. I'm not talking about security or military procedures. I am talking about cooperative work with the economical part and security part, with the cultural part and mental part. I confirm we need to face terrorism together. About these elements get out of from Syria and Iraq and to go to other areas. This is true. So we need to work hard to prevent that and to never give them a chance to refuge to other areas in places as security issues such as Libya, for example. So we need to get united and to work hard and to prevent them to travel to other places in the world.
As for the new U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, as Sisi said, inflammatory statements by Trump during his campaign trail did not necessarily reflect the actions he will take as president. He said we have to draw a distinction between rhetoric that takes place within campaigns and the real and actual administration of a country after the inauguration of a president. He also went on to say that one shouldn't jump into conclusions or worry about future U.S. actions or policies in the Middle East. President Sisi presided over an expanded meeting with the Prime Minister, Sharif Ismail, the Central Bank of Egypt's Governor Tariq Amir, Ministers of Defense, Foreign Affairs, Interior and Finance, as well as the head of the Administrative Control Authority on Saturday. The presidential spokesman, Ala Yusuf, said that the president received reports over the last economic decisions, including the liberalization of exchange rate, and reviewed the monetary policies adopted by the government recently, as well as procedures to ease the repercussions of the decisions on low-income people. Sisi gave his directive to the government to take further steps to expand safety programs for low-income brackets and ease burdens on ordinary citizens. The meeting also focused on recent economic decisions as well as underway efforts by the government to offer citizens subsidies at a good price. The meeting also discussed the government's efforts in the framework of funding small and medium enterprises, providing a favorable climate for the development of its activities. The Cairo Criminal Court has adjourned to the 10th of December the trial of 739 defendants, including the Terrorist Brotherhood Organization's Supreme Guide, Mohammed Badia. The defendants are accused of staging an illegal armed sit-in at Rabah Al Adawiya Square back in 2013 in the wake of Mohammed Morsi's ouster. The trial has been postponed to give time to the court to inspect evidence. In another trial, the Asr al-Nil Misdemeanor Court sentenced the head of the press syndicate, Yahya Kallash, his deputy Gamal Abdul Rahim, and the syndicate's undersecretary, Khalid al-Balshi, to 2 years in prison. All three defendants are accused of harboring fugitive journalists involved in crimes that took place inside the syndicate's quarters. The court set bail at 10,000 Egyptian pounds pending an appeal. A human rights committee from Parliament headed to the Amriya police station to follow up on investigations into the death of street vendor Magdi Makin inside the station. This came as the prosecutors began an extensive probe into Makin's controversial death. He's believed to have died of torture. Prosecution team has already listened to witnesses and demanded that the monitoring cameras inside the police station be inspected. Prosecution also opened an investigation with the police officer involved in the incident and heard the testimony pending the forensic reports. To regional news, at least 27 civilians were killed in regime airstrikes, barrel bomb attacks, and artillery fire on the rebel-held side of Syria's Aleppo city on Saturday. We have the details.
The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported massive bombardment across the eastern side of the battered city 5 days into a renewed government assault on opposition-held districts. Syrian opposition activists also reported heavy bombardment of besieged rebel-held neighborhoods in the northern city of Aleppo, saying at least 6 people have been killed. The observatory said Syrian government warplanes and artillery struck more than 20 neighborhoods in East Aleppo, killing 6 people. The Aleppo Media Council said 15 people, including children, were killed in Saturday's violence in the country's largest